start from nothing and begin talking to you. I have nothing in particular on my mind, but what I do have are random pamphlets and books sitting by me, so I'll at least include those in the video so that you can get a sense of where I'm at. The ones you're looking at now, I've only flipped through. This one was a pretty interesting acquisition. It was called The Witch Doesn't Burn in This One by Amanda Lovelace. This one I'm actually in the middle of. It's called Sister Pelagia or Pelagia and the Black Monk. And the Black Monk by Boris Akunin. That's a pen name, and that's a fun fact we can get out of this actually, is the person's real name. Their name is in the back of the book. There's also a dossier in the back. Here's a part called Baba Yaga. I'll get to the name in a minute when I find it here. I'm still waking up. As you can see, I'm a little swollen this morning. Haven't done anything to take care of myself except for change and brush my teeth. But I got somewhere. Got a little bit of rice protein in me. Alright, my confusion is ending. There is the name and the person who wrote the book. His name is Grigory Shartashvili, who was born in the Republic of Georgia in 1956, and I'll read this extract about the author for you real quick. Boris Akunin is the pen name of Grigory Shartashvili, who was born in the Republic of Georgia in 1956. A philologist, critic, essayist, and translator of Japanese, Akunin published his first detective stories in 1998 and has already become one of the most widely read authors in Russia. In addition to the first two books in the Sister Pelagia series, Sister Pelagia and the White Bulldog, and Sister Pelagia and the Black Monk, he is also the author of 11 Erast Fandorin novels, including The Winter Queen, The Turkish Gambit, Murder on the Leviathan, The Death of Achilles, and Special Assignments, available from Random House trade paperbacks. He lives in Moscow. About the translator, Andrew Bromfield, who is the translator into English from Russian, was born in Hull in Yorkshire, England, and is the acclaimed translator of the stories and novels of Victor Pelevin and all of Boris Akunin's fiction. We also have the end of the dossier, which I'll read to you. In Sister Pelagia and the Black Monk, Boris Akunin shadows each of these phantoms, crafting a mystery in the vein of literature's greatest suspenseful minds. And in the Black Monk himself, Akunin promises to continue the tradition of mysterious and haunting Russian folktales that have frightened children and grown-ups alike for centuries and centuries to come. And it's filed under mystery at $14 US and $16 Canadian. That's the book. And I'll read a slight extract from somewhere that I haven't read yet. Just so we both get something out of it. So this is the first page of a chapter called A Terrible Vision. A Terrible Vision. After she finished writing this letter, Pelagia looked out of the window and frowned in concern. The sky, only recently clear and flooded with tranquil moonlight, was changing color. The north wind was driving a dark curtain of cloud across it from the horizon to the center, shrouding the infinite depths of the astral sphere. She had to hurry. Lisitsina had intended to leave her letter to the bishop on the table, but then she remembered the curiosity of the hotel staff. She thought hard and finally put the letter in the handiwork bag, hanging around her neck, reasoning that if she did suffer the same fate as Lagrange, or God forbid, Lentokhin or Berdichevsky, Polina Andreevna shuddered at the very thought. The letter would not in any case get lost. It would reach his grace even sooner, and if the bishop was not destined to rise from his sickbed, she sighed bitterly, then the senior levels of the police could look into things. After that, she acted quickly. She threw on the cloak with the hood, grabbed the traveling bag, and set off into the night. The waterfront was quite deserted now, and the investigator had no difficulty slipping into the closed pavilion. Soon after that, a skinny young monk was walking along the path leading from New Ararat to Lenton Spit, shuddering as his black cassock billowed in the freezing cold wind. The sky was darkening with increasing rapidity. Pelagius lengthened his stride and walked faster, but the blank curtain was moving closer and closer to the serene face of the lamp of night. The implacable advance of darkness raised two concerns in the novice's mind. Would his sortie not be in vain? Would the criminal not change his mind about impersonating Basilisk tonight? And if he did appear in any case, ought Pelagius not to have taken Lagrange's revolver with him? What good was it doing, lying in the traveling bag between the bulky iron chest and the pavilion? He would have felt much safer on the dark, deserted shore if he had it. Nonsense, Pelagius told himself. The weapon would be of no use. He could not fire at a living soul in order to save his own life, could he? The young monk stopped thinking about the revolver, and now the only thing that concerned him was the moon, which had hidden behind a cloud. Any long-time resident of Canaan would have told Pelagius that when the wind was from the north, the moon was doomed, and it would never peep out again now, except perhaps for a few brief moments, and even then not at full strength, but only shining through some thin cloud. However, the novice had not had occasion to discuss the caprices of the moon over the blue lake with individuals more experienced than he, and so he continued to gaze up at the silver-shrouded vault of heaven with a certain hope. Also to note out of the books, and this used to be Oborn's place, maybe? I think it's just added to the place because it's a cool little item. This is an RV I'm sitting in that belongs to a friend of mine, but I've been living in it in a tent outside on his property for now. I'm moving into a farmhouse, possibly, with other people, or into an apartment in town at some point in the near future. But for now, for this season, I've got this stuff covered. Books, reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. So far, so good. We'll pull an extract out of here. In the mind of one who is chastened and purified, you will find no corrupt matter, impurity, or any sore-skinned over. Nor is his life incomplete when fate overtakes him, as one may say of an actor who leaves the stage before ending and finishing the play. Besides, there is in him nothing servile or affected, too closely bound to other things or yet detached from other things, nothing worthy of blame, nothing that seeks a hiding place. That's Book 3, number 8, and I'll read number 9 since we're here. Revere the faculty that produces opinions. This faculty determines whether there shall exist in your ruling part any opinion inconsistent with nature and the constitution of the rational animal. And this faculty promises freedom from hasty judgment, friendship toward men, and obedience to the gods. So here we have polytheism rather than the monotheism of Sister Pelagia and the Black Monk. Casting aside other things, this is number 10, hold to the precious few, and besides bear in mind that every man lives only the present, which is an invisible point, and that all the rest of his life is either past or is uncertain. Brief is man's life, and small the nook of the earth where he lives. Brief, too, is the longest posthumous fame, buoyed only by a succession of poor human beings who will very soon die and who know little of themselves, much less of someone who died long ago. And I'll read number 11 to finish off the page. It's a much longer one. To the aids that have been mentioned, let this one still be added. I guess this in general is a reading for now, so that will work out for this video because it's going to YouTube. Make for yourself a definition or description of the thing that is presented to you, so as to see distinctly what kind of a thing it is in its substance, in its nudity, in its entirety, and tell yourself its proper name and the names of the things of which it has been compounded and into which it will be resolved. For nothing so promotes elevation of mind as the ability to examine methodically and truly every object that is presented to you in life, and always to look at things so as to see at the same time what kind of universe this is, and what kind of use everything performs in it, and what value everything has with reference to the whole, and what with reference to man, who is a citizen of the highest city, of which all other cities are like families, what each thing is, its composition and duration, and what virtue I need bring to it, such as gentleness, manliness, truth, fidelity, simplicity, contentment, and the rest. On every occasion a man should be able to say, this comes from God, and this is according to the apportionment and spinning of the thread of destiny, coincidence, or chance, and this is from someone of the same stock, a kinsman and partner, but one who is ignorant of what is really in accordance with his nature. But I know, for this reason I have behaved towards him according to the natural law of fellowship, with benevolence and justice. At the same time, however, in things neither good nor bad, I attempt to ascertain the value of each. And a slight bit from 12, just to carry us over. If you apply yourself to the task before you, following right reason seriously, vigorously, calmly, without allowing anything else to distract you, but keeping your divine part pure, as if you might be bound to give it back immediately. If you hold to this, expecting nothing, fearing nothing, but satisfied with your present activities according to nature, and with heroic truth in every word and sound which you utter, you will live happily, and there is no man who is able to prevent this. That's number 12 in book 3. I like to goat ear or dog ear pages so that I know where I am in a book. And if I find a section important, or I'm just noting that I've been to it but not read the entire book up to that point, then I'll double like that, or I'll do the bottom as well. Fun facts about books. But anyways, I'm going to go through this pile and just hold them up to the screen for you. The Mind and the Brain by Jeffrey M. Schwartz, M.D. and Sharon Begley. Ficciones, Fictions by Jean-Louis Borges. George Louis Borges. Jorge Luis Borges. William S. Burroughs' novel Wild Boys, which I'm currently reading. So we'll set that down on my little table here. H is for Hawk. 10 Best Books, New York Times Book Review 2015 by Helen MacDonald. An instant classic, says Dwight Garner of the New York Times. This one, it says about itself as a nature book. The confidence with which I sat there with the hawk was absolute. I know how to do this, I thought. I am good, at least at this. I know all the steps to this dance. First, the hawk will feed on my gloved fist. Then, as the days pass, she'll grow tamer, partly because I am keeping her indoors and constantly in my presence, just as 15th century falconers had done. Soon she will step to my fist for food, and later she will jump to it. We'll go for long walks to accustom her to cars and dogs and people, and then she'll fly to me when I call her, first on a line, the krantz, and then free. And then. And it goes on to a personal note. But the word krantz, that's an interesting one, must have specifically to do with hawks. Creance. Interesting word. I'm very happy about this one. I have an Oxford American Dictionary. Whether it's American or English doesn't really matter to me. But the first word I got to here was elevator. Noun, an apparatus for transporting people or goods from one floor of a building to another. 2, a building for storing grain, equipped with machinery for lifting and discharging grain. 3, a movable part of an airplane used to control altitude. And what's after elevator is 11. 1, more than 10. XI in, or XI, depending which way you have your screen set. But IX would, of course, be 9 in Roman numerals. And 2, a team of 11 players at football. And elevation is above elevator. Elevation, elevating, being elevated. The altitude of a place. A piece of rising ground, a hill. The angle that the direction of something as a gun makes with the horizontal. Interesting that we have references to guns in both the novel Sister Pelagia and the Black Monk, and also in the first opening of the Oxford American Dictionary. They seem to be very popular in this world, so that makes sense. A plan or drawing showing one side of the structure, a south elevation of the house. Let's go earlier in the dictionary. We get to chairman, a person who presides over a meeting or committee, or chairperson, I would say, which is right below it. The president of a board of directors. And chairperson is defined as any person chosen to preside over a meeting, organization, etc. With a note, the word chairman may be used of persons of either sex, but chairperson is increasingly heard in this sense. And right below it we have chaise, which actually comes from French. A light open carriage for 1 or 2 persons, a chaise longue. And in French it's just chair. And chaise longue, right below it, chaises longues, plural, but usually pronounced without the S in French, if you're not familiar. A chair with a very long seat on which the sitter can stretch out his legs. And this expression is frequently written incorrectly as chaise lounge, which I think is considered acceptable to most people, but in any case, we have a little bit of the Oxford American Dictionary here, giving us a bit more information. It says here since 1478. I guess that's about Oxford in general, but maybe the dictionary as well. And then here's a classic book, Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. It's always a long names that get me. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. And it is a book that's been around for a while. But here we have order in consciousness as one concept considered. The autotelic experience, which is the state of flow, or I would say a grounded state of being that involves feeling in the flow of nature and being such that you feel fed, you feel happy, you feel like nature's providing for you. You feel like you're involved. It can involve anxiety or other types of emotions at the same time, but generally speaking, it feels very pleasing. And this is an interesting one. It's more of an academic text. It's called Media and Society by Arthur Asseberger, a Critical Perspective, second edition, and it's in the R&L series in Mass Communication. But it says here something about semiotics, and I'll just give you the source to it. It is from adweek.com/aw/article_display.jsp?VNU_content_ID equals 1001615230. And that's from December 6, 2005. There's also a note from nytimes.com, Nielsen, Nielsen, outdoor.com/npod.html. And what they're looking for is something by Stuart Elliott called Did You See That Sign? Advertisers will have their answer at last. And Outdoor seeks ratings equality. And then Nielsen Outdoor as well. But since I've given you all of those particular references, maybe they're still out there or not. But in any case, I'll just show another part of the book right here. And we get the last part of our little show and tell. What I would leave you with is a bit of guitar playing, but I've already put the guitar away out in the tent for now, so I'll spare you that, considering especially that I haven't warmed up at all, and it's only got 3 strings on it right now. But the 3 strings thing has been fun for composition, because I've been able to find a lot of interesting things I wouldn't have necessarily tried had it not been for pulling out the 3-string guitar, which was 4 strings at the beginning of my sessions this summer. It did have 6 strings at one point, but they were the factory strings, so it's time to put new ones on. I bought one set, but I lost them before I put them on the guitar, so. Well, that's enough of that for now. I'm going to get back up and get to stretching and get back to life. And if you enjoy a smoke or a vape or a snack or water or coffee or tea, whatever it might be for you, go ahead and get to it. I am going to get to coffee myself in a little bit here. I'm going to try to save myself a bit of time by doing it in the afternoon maybe, but it is 11 o'clock a.m. on the East Coast, which means it is 8 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, so good morning to all of you, and have a great rest of your day.